Okay. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for coming to my bag opening. I bought a lot of groceries today, and I thought it'd be fun to open them in a Zoom session and discuss it.
Okay.
So, so the first thing I'm going to show you in my grocery bag is this.
What is that?
Let's see. I have to pop this up. This is seaweed, a seaweed product. And they had several. It's the one I decided to buy. I'm going to open it. It looks like this. So I don't know what to do with it yet, but I spotted it, and I think I've heard that seaweed's really good for us. So I'm going to try to figure out some way to use this, and I'll let you know when I do.
Yeah. I could imagine that dropping some of that in the soup I made might have been good.
Ooh, that sounds really good. So I'll have to find out how long it takes to like kind of reconstitute it. Okay, let's see. Oh, there are instructions on the back, so I'll take a look at those. I also got coconut flakes. So I love coconut, and I'm reading about how healthful coconut is for us, and I want to use this as a topping on some of my foods, my plate. Rest up whatever's on my plate, make it more.
Okay, I'm adding that to yummy toppings.
Yeah, this is coconut chips, and it's all that's in mine is organic coconut. It was $1.60 for this box.
Yeah.
Okay. I have these clams. These have an amazing amount of B12, which I found out recently I'm deficient in. So I just open one of these. I have a spoonful at each meal to get, because there's enough B12 in this one can for a month or something at the RDA. So it's like, I checked online and found out this has the highest B12 of any food out there by far. So this is I'm taking the vitamin as well, but I'm also trying to have this, a little spoonful of this at every meal.
How do you like the taste of it?
It's fine. I mean, you can, you can make recipes out of this, out of clams. I haven't, but could be make some, it's probably
maybe they'd be good with eggs.
Clams and eggs, like scrambled eggs or something.
Maybe.
Interesting. I think what I would do is just Google eggs, clams recipe and see if I find something.
How long will that can last? I guess you took it out of the can and put it in a glass container.
Yeah, all it says is refrigerate after opening. It doesn't tell me how long I can leave it open, but I'm hoping I want to try to eat it up in a week. So.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully that's good enough.
Okay. That's very smart of you to find a good, food source for it and just integrate it in your diet that way.
Yeah, well, vegetarians are at risk of a B12 deficiency and a number of other things. And B12 is, so vegetarians and vegans have to pay attention to their B12 sources. So they wouldn't use that, but there are other sources that you can find.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know how toxic clams are compared to other seafoods?
Well, that's a good question. They're bottom feeders, so it might depend on where they're from. I just saw them on a list that the USDA says these are seafoods with lower levels of toxins. But I think getting my B12 is more important than avoiding the toxins that might be in there. It's far more important.
So even though they're bottom feeders, they're still on the low level of toxins list? Well,
according to the USDA, but I don't know if they are really, how they can, just because it's on their list, they say it's low, it might still mean that I shouldn't eat more than, 1 can a month. I don't know. I don't really.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm just eating a small amount each day. With 7,000 times the RDA, I need 1/70th of this.
Do you think you could freeze it?
I mean, 10 times the RDA. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. And I can just drop in a little bit of frozen stuff in my, my dal soup or whatever, and I wouldn't even taste it. I wouldn't even notice.
Oh, you wouldn't taste it if it were in there?
Not a spoonful of it. No, wouldn't flavor. A spoonful of this would give me 10 times the RDA, and I wouldn't taste it. A spoonful of this in my dal, in a bowl of dal.
I don't know. Some things are really potent. You know, like if we're anchovies, it would be really strong.
This has very little flavor. There's,
You know what? I'm just thought of adding anchovies to our yummy things list
yes, that's a great idea.
of anchovies.
Okay.
So, excuse me. Yeah, okay.
These are beans. This is a new, this is the least expensive brand in my store, and these were only like $1.70 each, which might sound a lot to some people, but I'm really not comfortable buying stuff that's not organic. So I'm gonna put money on it. And then,
How many ounces of garbanzo beans do you have there?
oh yeah, this is a 15-ounce can, but I don't know how, there's a lot of liquid. I don't know how much of it is actual chickpeas. So,
That'll be so interesting I can't wait to see tomorrow for you to measure, to make chickpeas with the dried chickpeas
yeah,
and to figure out the cost analysis. I hope you do that.
I will do that. So I'll show you what so I just, as you know, I bought chickpeas and bulk, and I got a small bag of each, probably about 2 or 3 cups of dried chickpeas and dried black beans, organic, from my bulk section. I dropped each of those in a pot of water. They're going to soak overnight. I'm going to cook them tomorrow. And then I'm going to compare the taste of my cooked chickpeas to these canned chickpeas. I want to see if there's a difference.
I'm super curious. Can you look at your receipt and see how much your chickpeas cost?
I think they were 70 on sale. They were 30 cents off. So they're normally like $1.99 or something.
No, I mean your dried chickpeas. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So those 3 cups, they almost triple, I think, in volume. So that might be 10 cups. And this may be like only a cup that I get out of the can, maybe a cup and a half. And let me see. Oh, wait, that can was only $1.20. So let's call that $1.20 for 1 cup. And then I'm looking at my receipt. Let's see.
You can do it later if you want.
Okay. Oh. No, I don't know why I can't find it right now. Okay. Long list. Next thing. So I also got some, lately I've only been cooking with fresh tomato. And as you know, like I love to cook with these little tomatoes, cherry and grape. And I look for the reddest looking ones in the store, and I prefer to get them in the box. They come in little plastic containers too. I just find that these big tomatoes don't really have much flavor. They look nice when they're sliced if you want that kind of a look, but I've never had a big tomato that has much flavor compared to these. And also these are more nutritious, as I understand, particularly this can. And then, but I wanted to get these because I don't want not having fresh tomatoes stop me from making a recipe. So I got 2 different kinds here, depending on what you're doing. I might want
just to back up.
Yeah. My store sells this ketchup. I really like this ketchup. This tastes so much better to me than Heinz and those others. And it has it's organic. It doesn't have any sugar. But let me show you my favorite ketchup of all. This is it. We love this. We use this a lot.
What is that?
This is this is a new line of like simmer sauces, and she has this spicy ketchup. This is so delicious. We love it. It's ketchup with a bit of
wow.
Yeah. This is
What do you put that on?
anything that you would put ketchup on.
Okay.
Like roasted potatoes or I guess that's mainly where I use it with my roasted vegetables.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, so I have a couple spices. This is black sesame seed.
Oh.
And I was looking, I don't remember what I was looking at, but for some reason I came across black sesame seed on the web, and it was listed as having been very high, extremely high in some great nutrient that sounds, and I thought, well, if I'm going to cook with sesame seed, I might as well cook with black ones, and you can get white ones, you can get toasted, and I love sesame seed as a condiment. That's one of my yummy things. This is cardamom, ground cardamom.
Mm-hmm.
Remember you and I were talking the other day, and we were trying different seasonings on the roasted vegetables, and one of the seasonings I wanted to try was cardamom. I didn't have any, so I just had the whole cardamom, and I needed powdered, so I got that today.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But if you had the whole cardamom, what do? Would you blend it in your little coffee grinder to use it?
Well, that's what I could have done right then if I really, were. But do you want to see what whole cardamom looks like?
Okay, I think it looks like a little seed, right?
Well, it's a seed in a pod. We buy these in bulk, see?
Oh, those are huge.
And then Mark uses this in some of his recipes, and you just kind of break it open, and it has these little black seeds in them, very strong odor. I mean, I could smell it immediately as soon as I pulled it open. Let's see.
So do you have to take those little tiny bits out of that bigger seed to use it?
No, what we do is we barely break it so the seeds stay inside. We don't want those falling out because they taste terrible if you bite into them. So we just crack it open a little, and then this goes into the sauce. And
then you take that out later?
Yes. Or you just, if it's on your plate, you just don't chew it. You make sure not.
You put it to the side?
Yeah.
So because I think I might have some cardamom, but I think it's like just a little seeds.
Oh, the little black seeds?
Well, they look, I think, if I'm correct.
I would get it in the pod because those little seeds taste terrible if you get them in your mouth.
But you wouldn't want to just grind those in the coffee grinder to get a ground cardamom?
Why don't you do that? Because I bet it would be better than this pound. If you're going to have ground cardamom, do it from the seed. By all means, try it. Because I don't think I would use those seeds otherwise.
Okay, I'll check that out. All right.
Okay, I was very happy today. I forgot, I did, this is one of the first times I bought a big tomato, but this is heirloom.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember why I decided to get this. I'm going to taste test this at least and see how it tastes compared to my little ones.
Yeah.
And compared to the big one. I love doing testing. I think it's worth spending extra money to do testing because otherwise it's really hard to tell, if my store has a cheap pesto and an expensive pesto, I'm going to go ahead and buy or a spicy ketchup and an organic ketchup and a Heinz ketchup. I'm going to go ahead and buy one of each and find out whether it really is worth spending the extra money on.
Interesting. Yeah.
And it's a one-time investment. Maybe you spend $15 on ketchup instead of $3 or whatever, but then you find out that, well, it's really worth going for the organic. It makes a huge difference in flavor. And in the long run, I think it's worth it.
I love that. I think that's a great tip. And I love, like you said, just buying one heirloom tomato to test it out and see what you think.
Yeah. So, and without the side-by-side, it's harder for me to tell. Sometimes it's obvious without the side-by-side. So my store, I spotted these. They were on sale, the good price for any time of year. So I grabbed some big ones, even though I have some others. And I love lots of color. When I use peppers, these sweet peppers, I think the more colors, the better. And the colors correlate to nutrients. So they're different nutrients based on color.
Those freeze pretty well too, don't they? If you cut them up in slices.
Yeah.
I don't know. They get kind of mushy though, don't they? Mine do.
I guess mine do too, but I would use them in a cooked recipe and add them a little later than I would the fresh ones so that they still
Yeah.
have some firmness. This is a giant jalapeno. Mark and Danielle love these on their pizzas, on their oven, their frozen pizza.
What, you just slice it up?
Yeah, into little rings. If
You don't peel it?
No,
Do you like jalapeno?
I don't. They're a little hotter than I like. I don't like them. The
Interesting.
poblano seems milder, so I like the poblano. The poblano looks much like this, but it's about twice the size. This is a really big jalapeno, by the way. Okay, lime. I saw some recipes that need lime, so I got myself a lime. Look for limes if you buy them that have no brown spots or yellow spots. The greener, if a full. Okay, brown means it's starting to age. If you can't find one that doesn't have yellow or brown spots, then go ahead and buy it, but you might not want to stay away from the part near the brown spot, possibly. Avocados, you probably buy those, right? Okay. Oh yeah, here's the orange. Aren't these colors beautiful? And notice I don't have green. I don't like green peppers. They just taste like an unripe pepper to me.
Yeah.
Okay, vegetables. Few more ingredients, actually. So what do I have here? I have 2 containers of hummus. They didn't have the brand I wanted, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a taste test. I want to know which one I like the best.
Why don't you taste right now?
All right. And I'm going to also make, since I have the chickpeas and I'm also soaking chickpeas, I can make hummus with either of those or both and have up to 4 different preparations of hummus, and we'll see which tastes best. And I'm going to I'm going to have Danielle do a blind test so she doesn't know which one I made. And
I think that's great.
She might realize she likes my homemade stuff better.
And not only that, you can change the recipe of your homemade stuff to make it different.
I can, but with hummus, if I have a recipe I like, I probably will stick with it.
Have you made it at home before?
Oh yeah, it's easy. It's just like,
I know.
It's like making tahini. So easy.
So why do you buy it?
Because Danielle gave me a shopping list. She complains that we don't have foods that she likes. So I said, okay, make a shopping list. And I went and got it for her. She asked me to do it. I suggested you take my card and go shopping and get whatever you want. So we have what you want in the kitchen. And then she said, Mom, will you shop for me? Here's my list, and which I did. And this was on her list, but I want her, instead of saying, no, I'm going to make hummus. Okay, I'll buy hummus. But I want her to taste test.
And also do a price comparison.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to bet that costs like 75% more than making your own.
Yeah. They're both good. They're both excellent. They're different. So I would pick the least expensive unless there's a difference in the quality of the ingredients that I can judge. So then I would start looking at, ingredients here.
What's different about them? Like, does one have lemon and the other doesn't or something?
They both have all the same. They're not identical in taste, but they're both good. I don't know what's making them different. I'll have to look at the ingredients. Let's see. Oh, so this one has no preservatives. This one has preservatives.
Oh.
Like they have citric acid. This one has garlic powder. This one has garlic. So which one are we going to buy? The one with the fresh garlic and without the citrus powder for freshness, and without rosemary extract. Oh, they say the other one has rosemary extract, which they list as an antioxidant, and it's organic. Well, that's nice. but I don't need them. I don't need to buy the one that's fortified because I'm getting oxidants from lots of other sources.
That's an interesting ingredient though, to think about putting in your hummus when you make it at home.
Yeah, it works. I mean, I'm that might be a little taste. If I go back and taste this one again, I might be able to taste that rosemary, and it would taste fine. It was good.
I'd rather buy the one without preservatives and powder or whatever, but the idea of adding some rosemary into hummus is an interesting idea.
And this one was made in Seattle, and this one, let me see if I can see where this one was made. Okay, so this one here was from Boulder, another strike against it. It's shipped from Boulder, Colorado. This is made in Seattle, where I live.
Yeah.
Lots of reasons to buy this one. Now, how much were these, and how much does it cost compared to homemade? Probably a huge price difference. I'll check the price.
I'm gonna guess $1 to make your own and $4 to buy that.
Yeah, yep. It's going to cost very little to make my own. Mostly it's the cost of the chickpeas. And let me see if I can find this one on here. Hummus. Oh, this was $6.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this is so good and so easy and to make that you could have this every other day and you can afford it. You can't afford this thing. I mean, homemade I can afford every other day, but this I can only afford.
Homemade you could afford every day, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great food. This I wouldn't want to eat it every day, but I could afford it every day. This I wouldn't want to do more than, an expensive product like this. I probably wouldn't want to do it more than twice a month.
Yeah. That's nuts how much that cost, honestly.
Yeah, and I can make mine with organic chickpeas if I start with the raw.
And so what do? You'd put in like a cup of I mean, how many ounces was that? Like 10 ounces?
Probably like 8 or something, 8 or 10. Yeah, let's see. It was 8 ounces.
So you put in an 8-ounce cup of chickpeas into the blender and how much tahini?
I make mine without tahini. I don't think that one had tahini. Some people include tahini. You don't need it.
What else do you put in?
A Lebanese woman showed me the first time I saw homemade hummus was at the home of a graduate student in my lab at school. His wife made it. They're from Lebanon, and she just had a blender. She dropped in a bunch of chickpeas. She dropped in some fresh garlic, squeezed some lemon, some salt, and boom, it was ready.
Oh yeah. So that sounds great.
It's just as easy as tahini. It was
yeah. Delicious. And tahini is just something extra you could add if you want to.
Yeah, but you make tahini the same way, and there's lots of things that are made, like that peanut butter sauce that you told me about. That's essentially it's the same recipe.
Well, I buy my tahini already made.
Well, do you? No, I have, but I like it homemade. It's so easy and so good.
Oh, I didn't know about making my own tahini at home.
Well, are we talking about, there's a difference between tahini and tahini sauce.
Oh, okay.
So if you get out tahini, it'll have the consistency of peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
My tahini looks like a jar of peanut butter, and I can eat a spoon of tahini as a snack. Tahini sauce is when I've taken the tahini and I've mixed it with other things, and normally it's mixed with the same things that are in hummus: garlic, lemon, and salt.
Well, I think my tahini is just tahini, but it came already blended, so I bought it in a bottle, and I didn't realize I could make my own tahini.
So yours already has lemon and garlic and salt?
No, I don't think it has. It's just all tahini, I think.
Oh, so that's just sesame seed paste. That's all it is. It's all right. It's ground up sesame seeds. If you look in the ingredients, that should be all that's in it.
So you just buy sesame seeds bulk and then you grind them up?
No. Look what I have.
Oh, so you buy it like that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I buy it too. Right. So you would put that sesame tahini that's already made into your garbanzo beans.
It's just like peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay, that's what I buy. Okay, that's what I thought you said you make that at home. I thought you said you made your tahini at home by yourself.
I make tahini sauce.
Oh, you make the sauce. Okay, got it.
From this. I use this.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so you could add that tahini into your hummus if you want to.
Yeah, or you could just dip a carrot into this.
Yeah, I do. Or add honey and do something with it.
But I don't like that straight personally.
Yeah, I don't really either. Okay, got it. But that's what could go in the hummus, is that tahini right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you were talking about basil the other day, and I thought, okay, basil. This is
nice.
This is all I could find. It was really expensive for this little bitty box of basil.
You know, I bet you could grow basil in your kitchen pretty easily.
Yeah, but funny you mentioned that, because Trader Joe's in the spring or whenever they will sell basil plants.
Yeah.
Wow, that smells good. I just opened that for a moment.
Just seeing that makes me want some.
It has a peppery smell to it.
That would have been good in my soup today.
Yes.
Oh, because I put basil spice in my soup, so that would have been even better.
Another thing I decided to buy today. Let's see.
Rosemary?
Well, this is rosemary, sage, and thyme. Parsley, rosemary, and thyme.
Cute.
Because when I use rosemary, I don't like the dried stuff. Now I can just grab it, and I just use a few needles, so I don't want to spend $4 on one of those little boxes like this to get fresh rosemary. Now I'll just pluck a few needles off of this. I've had fresh sage once, and man, was that good. So now I can just pluck a lower leaf off this. The new leaves will grow in up here, and I'm just going to experiment with fresh sage.
I can't wait to find out how that works out for you.
And if you just rub your fingers on the leaf, you can smell it. So strong. And this is,
wouldn't that be, what is that, thyme?
Yeah.
That would make a really cute gift. Like making your own from seeds would probably cost like 1/10 of what you just paid for that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know, like with cilantro, the farmer told me that they plant a new crop every 2 weeks.
Right.
So they can harvest. I think they can harvest they can harvest all the time, but they've got to grow. So by the time, there's always some they can harvest. Like, I don't know how long it has to grow before they can harvest it, but they're planting all through the summer. Every 2 weeks, they're planting.
Wouldn't that be awesome to just be able to grow all this stuff just in your kitchen?
Well, you know what? Seeing that little box there told me, wow, why not just grow it? Because the reason why I picked that up was I walked through the store and I saw a huge planter and I saw what looked like a rosemary plant. So I walked inside and said, is that rosemary out there? And do you guys have that there so people can just pick a little bit when they want it? Like, wouldn't that be awesome if they did that as a service?
Oh, yeah.
But that's when I started noticing the little plants, and I thought, these look like that's what, is thinking along that lines that caused me to notice these little plants that they add. And I decided to take a look and said, yeah, I want to try that. Okay, what do I have? I don't use cheese very often, but I love this Mexican cheese. It's called queso or cotija. It's really like a cottage cheese, but it has a really nice texture and flavor. So might start, like when I make that chipotle black bean soup with avocado, because I'm going to avocado and use that as a garnish, and then some cilantro, and then I'm going to put some of this cheese on it. So I'll figure out ways to use this.
That might be good in eggs, with black beans and eggs.
Oh, that sounds good, Sherry. Like kind of like a modified huevo rancheros. Oh, I'm going to try that for breakfast Saturday morning. Yeah, I love it. And then I just got some olives. These olives I love. Our store sells lots of different kinds of olives. They call these olives of love, but they're already seasoned. they're seasoned Greek olives and they got garlic and I don't know what, but they taste so good. So I keep these as a nice, this is such a great healthy snack.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm eating fresh, I mean, unpressed olive oil. It's pre-expeller pressed. It's right out of the
Yeah.
oven.
That's wonderful.
Okay, next you get to see the rest of my vegetables. What's in here? I just tossed these all into one bag.
Excuse me.
Here you go. Okay, green onions. These you can cook this. What I used to do is I would take these, I just trim off the ends, just line these up and just chop them all off with my knife right at the roots out. If you have stuff on here that's kind of gross, once you trim it, it's really easy to peel off these outer layers and get the gross stuff off. And anytime you see stuff that goes bad, just go work through it and just pick out the bad stuff like this. Bad one, just pull that off.
Okay.
And so once these are trimmed, it's really easy. So I usually just give these, trim them, rinse them, get the bad stuff off, and then these go in the fridge. And often I just line them up like this and join the rubber bands like that. And then when I want green onion, I have them set up so that either end I'm getting a mix of white and green. And I
Interesting.
choose different ends so I don't have to unbundle them. I just go and chop a little bit off as much as I want and just work my way back from both ends.
What do you put those in? Lots of things?
Well, it's a great garnish. I garnished my lunch with it today. That picture I sent you of my lunch. I also put some green onion, and I'm starting to like when I cut green onion, like, these don't have long green parts. So that suggests to me, I don't know why, usually they have a lot more green than this, much longer. It should be a lot longer. I don't know, but I like the green part, like doing long pieces of green. They look really pretty. In your soup, it would have looked really pretty to have a few pieces of this floating in there. And then with cilantro, in order to use this up, I always take the twist tie off because it's a lot harder to access it when it's in a bag. If the twist tie is on it, it's hard to get stuff out. And I'll just grab a clump of it and just quickly put this under the sink. And then I just hold it like this and I just start grabbing clumps of leaves off because I don't like these stems. So I'll just, and it's, I try to strip this as fast as possible. I'll do it right now so you can see. Like I just start grabbing leaves like this. Just from all over. I don't do them one at a time. I do a whole bunch at a time.
You know what? I bet Dad would really like that black bean soup.
Yeah.
With the cheese and cilantro.
And avocado. Yeah.
And avocado. Maybe chicken could go in there too.
Well, if he likes the chipotle and the dal, then he's going to love it in the black bean soup.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I guess.
That would be a nice crunchy.
Usually people chop this up, I guess, but normally I found out it doesn't really taste very good cooked. It's best as a fresh herb.
That would be a nice Sunday morning brunch thing to make together. That like black beans and egg and the cheese and the cilantro and avocado, maybe tomato.
Yeah, let's talk Sunday morning and make something. That sounds good. So see all my stems that are left? And sometimes you find bad leaves, of course, throw those out. Because it has, the stems are green, that means they have antioxidant in them. They have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a great antioxidant. So, this could be used if you're into making vegetable stock, save these for your stock. You can also chop these up very finely and throw these in with your onion. And so you get the benefit of all the nutrients in these stems.
I wonder about roasting them. I wonder what they would be like if you roasted them.
Oh, roast the stems?
Just to try it and see what happens.
Oh, like throwing it in with the onion, maybe?
Yeah.
Things, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, because I saw that show where they took the cauliflower, all the green stuff off the cauliflower and threw it in the roasting pan.
Yeah. was wondering about that. I saved my trimmings yesterday for my cauliflower, and I wanted to ask you what to do with it.
You roast it.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. Here are my
Try it with these, try it with that cilantro tonight.
Okay, see these beautiful greens? These are the greens on my radishes. These are
Yeah.
So
Do you like the way they taste?
I don't think usually I end up not letting them spoil, but this time I'm going to try to not let them spoil, and I'm going to try cooking with these and see how.
Why don't you roast some of those too and see what happens?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I could roast the greens. I don't usually roast greens, but
With onion, roast those greens with onion and the cilantro stems and the cauliflower
okay, I'll try it.
and just see what happens.
Okay. And then, so I think maybe what I should do with these, so I do end up using these greens, is just cut off all my radishes right away. And then this radish is a great garnish, and today when I used it, I just used a grater. I grated one whole radish and dropped it on top of my leftovers that I had heated up. It was delicious.
It's kind of peppery, right?
Yeah. And I held on to the back end. I kept the root on and grated it from this end, and it gave me something to hold on to, so I wasn't worried about scraping my fingers on the grater.
Oh.
That worked out well. So I'm gonna do that and then put these away in a few minutes and separate the greens. And I'm gonna go ahead and use these greens up right away. And let's see, that might be most of it.
I wonder if some tahini sauce would be good on those greens.
You mean like raw greens with tahini?
Hmm?
Raw greens with tahini?
No, after you roast them.
I don't know. It's a good experiment. I like the idea to try that. It's really interesting. I mean, some people say to roast kale leaves and then they turn into kale chips and they're really good. I haven't done that. And kale chips, then you could dip it in tahini. Maybe these will turn into chips, these little.
I don't think so. I think they just really wither down significantly.
Maybe it could be used as a dry condiment, you know? Then you could crush it and use it as a condiment maybe on your soup or whatever.
I think I think it's sort of like wilted spinach after you roast them.
Oh, okay. So this
Like, I don't know.
I wanted to tell you, this is the tamarind. This is a good substitute for lemon juice, and it stores, you know, months or years or whatever in the freezer. It's just this pasty stuff. Really
Wow.
good.
That is so interesting, because it does not look lemony at all.
No, but this is on that yummy.
What's that called? Seedless?
This one is seedless tamarind, but it actually has seeds in it. It's not really, this one is not really seedless. It's fine. You have to strain it. So. And this is on that list of that chef.
It tastes like lemon.
It's like a mild lemon. It's really nice. It's really smooth. So these are the onions that I
Wow.
got today. I mean,
So could you put that in your tahini, Joan, if you had no lemons?
yes, I tried that. Yeah.
I mean, in your garbanzo, your hummus.
Oh yeah, I made my tahini sauce the other day with tamarind, and it was great. It worked great.
And you could make hummus with tamarind.
Anytime you need lemon, you could use this.
I love that because I get annoyed spending like over $1 for lemon.
Yeah. So
And I don't really want to do that.
these are crimini mushrooms, of course. These are just portobellas, small portobellas.
Oh.
And they're a lot less expensive than portobello mushrooms. You know, I've tried other mushrooms. These have such a nice flavor. They're really good. So, and they're not as expensive as shiitake and other things. So
That's good to know.
Yeah. So these are my go-to. And like for me, usually if I'm just making something up for myself, 1 or 2 mushrooms is enough. Let me show you how I chop them, by the way.
How long do they keep in the fridge?
Pretty long. So what I do is they like to be in the dark. So see this bowl? I'm going to drop them in the bowl like this. And I like they don't keep well in a paper bag. They dry out. I don't want them to dry out. So I do this. But then I store this in a paper bag because they don't like light. They'll last longer if they're not exposed to light.
Wow.
So there, I put my bowl. Did you see me drop them in the bowl?
Yeah.
And I covered the bowl and then I've got them in this paper bag.
And you put them in the fridge?
Like that, yes.
That's great.
Okay. So here's, I just washed this mushroom.
How long do you think they'll last? Like 5 days in that bag?
Oh, maybe 2 weeks even.
Oh my gosh.
I guess it depends on how fresh they are when you get them. This one's pretty fresh because you can see it hasn't opened up down here at all.
Oh.
I look for the mushrooms that aren't opened up on the bottom. They're fresh.
Oh.
This one looks a little, I don't know, it seems fine. So I always, to do my mushrooms, I just trim off just a tiny bit on one side, like that. You turn it on the flat side like that, and then it's really easy to cut. It's not rocking around and stuff on me. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
So it's really quick, and then I do the next.
That's cool.
Yeah. Then I have my lovely little bench scraper.
It's a great mushroom cutting.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
bench scraper, and then it's easy to get it into the pot. It's, large quantities of stuff, you can pick it all up with one of these and transfer it right into the
Nice.
pot. And it picks everything up. The board's clean, and I clean my board too when I'm picking up my debris. I use this off to scrape the stuff that's on the
Oh.
board, and then I walk it right over behind me to the compost bin that I have.
Oh, that's great.
So I think that's all I have to share today. That's everything.
Well, thank you. That was very informative. That's too bad. Too bad Dad missed that. Oh, maybe he could watch the recorded Zoom.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to send that to him. Yeah, isn't that, I thought that would be really educational. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. Well, that was fun, Sherry. Enjoyed the conversation. I learned some things from you today.
Thank you. That was fun. I agree.
And we came up with some ideas of how to use some of these ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I'll say is I don't have specific recipes in mind when I went to the grocery store. I kind of picked what looked good to me. I also picked up salmon and chicken, by the way. But I know because of how I cook that I will figure out some way to use all this stuff without wasting it. And that's what I'm going to be trying. That's what I try to teach.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop. Okay. See